Have you ever noticed, the person everyone depends on is usually the one who has no one to lean on? They're the first to solve every problem, the last to complain, the one who keeps everyone else's life together, while quietly falling apart inside. And after a while, they stop asking, "Who will take care of me?" because they already know the answer. Most responsible people don't become exhausted because life is harder for them. They become exhausted because they slowly accept responsibilities that were never theirs to carry. It doesn't happen all at once. It begins with small moments. You stay late to fix someone else's mistake. You cancel your own plans because someone needs you. You say, "It's okay, I can handle it, it's not a big deal." And because you always say yes, people slowly stop asking whether you're able to. They simply begin expecting you to. At first, it feels good. Being dependable gives you purpose. Being needed makes you feel valuable. People thank you, respect you, rely on you. But there's a hidden cost. The more reliable you become, the less permission you give yourself to be tired. You convince yourself that resting is selfish, that slowing down means letting people down. So even when your body begs for a break, your mind whispers, "Just one more day, just one more problem." They need you. Until one day, you wake up, not feeling alive, only feeling responsible. And that's one of the saddest prisons a person can build. Because the door was never locked. You simply forgot that you were allowed to walk out. The hardest part is that no one tells responsible people to carry everything. Most of the time, they volunteer, not because they enjoy suffering, but because somewhere in their life, they learned that love had to be earned. Maybe you were the child who grew up too fast, the one who stayed quiet, so your parents wouldn't have one more problem to solve. Maybe you became the peacekeeper in your family, the one who apologized, even when you weren't wrong. Or maybe, you simply discovered that people praised you most when you were useful, so without realizing it, your worth became tied to what you could do for others. Not who you were, but what you carried, what you fixed, what you sacrificed. And that's a dangerous way to live. Because there will always be another problem to solve, another person to rescue, another responsibility waiting for you. If your value depends on being needed, you will never feel free. You'll spend your entire life proving your worth, without ever believing you already had it. The truth is, the most responsible people often don't know how to receive. A compliment feels uncomfortable, help feels undeserved, rest feels like guilt, and love feels safest when it has to be earned. But real peace begins the moment you stop asking, "What do I have to do to deserve love?" and start asking, "What if I was already enough?" Then one day, something unexpected happens. You become tired, not because life is too difficult, but because you've been living a life that was never meant to be carried alone. And suddenly, the role you've played for years starts to feel like a cage. You smile when people expect you to smile. You say, "I'm fine," before anyone even asks. You continue showing up, even when every part of you is begging for a pause. Not because you're strong, because you don't know who you'd be if you stopped. That's the hidden cost of always being the strong one. Eventually, you stop listening to your own needs. Your body whispers, you ignore it. Your heart aches, you silence it. Your mind begs for rest. You call it laziness, until one day, the whispers become impossible to ignore. They become anxiety, burnout, sleepless nights, a constant feeling of emptiness that no amount of achievement can fill. The strange thing is, the world often celebrates this version of you. People call you dependable, reliable, selfless. They admire how much you sacrifice. But very few people ever ask what those sacrifices have cost you. Because the strongest masks are often mistaken for the healthiest people. And maybe that's why you've felt so alone. Not because nobody loves you, but because nobody has ever met the version of you that finally stopped pretending to be unbreakable. Healing doesn't begin when your responsibilities disappear. It begins when you realize you don't have to carry all of them. For the first time in a long time, imagine waking up without feeling responsible for everyone else's happiness. Imagine answering a message later without guilt. Imagine saying, "I can't today," and believing that those 4 words do not make you selfish. They make you honest. Many responsible people are afraid that if they stop carrying everything, everything will fall apart. But here's what often happens instead. People learn to stand on their own. Relationships become healthier, and you finally have enough energy to truly be present, not because you're doing more, but because you're no longer surviving every single day. Real responsibility is not sacrificing yourself until there's nothing left. It's taking care of yourself, so you can continue caring for the people who truly matter. There is a quiet kind of strength in protecting your own peace. There is wisdom in knowing when to step back. And there is freedom in realizing that your worth has never been measured by how much you suffer. The world doesn't need another exhausted hero. It needs people who know how to live with compassion for others and for themselves. Because the moment you stop carrying every burden, you finally have room to carry your own life again. If you needed this message today, perhaps it's because you've been carrying more than anyone realizes. Perhaps you've spent so many years being responsible that you've forgotten what it feels like to simply exist, without fixing, without rescuing, without proving your worth. If that's you, I hope you remember this. Your value has never come from how much you sacrifice. It has never depended on how many people need you. And it has never been measured by how much pain you can quietly endure. You were allowed to rest. You were allowed to disappoint expectations that were never yours to meet. You were allowed to choose peace, even when the world keeps asking for more. Maybe today, you don't need to change your whole life. Maybe all you need is to put down one burden, answer one less request, carry one less weight, and use that small space to finally breathe. Because a life filled with responsibility should not come at the cost of your own existence. The people who truly love you will not stop loving you because you needed a moment to rest. And the world will not fall apart because you finally chose to take care of yourself. So tonight, before you fall asleep, ask yourself one simple question. What am I carrying that was never mine to carry? The answer may not change your life overnight, but it could be the first step toward becoming someone who is not only responsible, but finally, at peace.